Can you just tell us a little bit about your film?
So the film is called United We Fall, and it's an improvised mockumentary, so not scripted at all, based on the fact that some friends of mine inspired by the fact that some friends of mine had made a film called Class of '92, which was a very successful documentary about David Beckham and Ryan Giggs and Scholes and two other Manchester United football players that we don't really care about, who have been inordinately successful and won everything and become incredible sportsmen. And it was a great film. But I'm a Manchester City supporter, and I thought that there was an opportunity to have some fun at the expense, not just of Manchester United players, but also generally Premier League footballers who are either, well, let's say, for example, might be overpaid, theoretically, or might be homophobic, theoretically, might be racist, all that sort of stuff that we've seen on television that isn't really reflected in most films, because most films portray them as, documentaries portray them as heroes. They're the nice side of footballers. So we made a film that shows the stupid side.
Now, you said this was improvised, so was it the type of situation where it was, here's the beginning of the scene, here's the end, I want you to get there?
Not really. So what happens is that I basically cast the 5 lead actors, and we established for each of these characters. So one of them is a German goalkeeper. One of them is let's say a Beckham-style character obsessed with branding from Essex. He's an arch Mancunian, never really left Manchester. So we created characters and then backstories, me and the individual actors. And what I'd created was a story where I knew that I wanted them to lose the crucial 3 games in the middle of May, where they would have the chance to win the treble. And so that was the very, very basic premise. Yeah. And so we created very basic stories for them as backstories, as characters. And then I said, well, for example, I want one of these characters to be gay, and I chose that character, and I chose how I wanted him to come out. And how I wanted that to backfire. And then what happened, so we had, for example, we took that story and then I interviewed all of the actors, as you're interviewing me, about their stories, which they knew had happened. And they gave slightly different answers, and then we just edited the whole thing together. But I also got the actors to sit in on each other's interviews, so they knew, it sort of emphasized the stories that they were telling, so they picked up on that.
What would you say is one of the biggest challenges that you faced during filming?
I think the biggest challenge was towards the second half of the film. There's a reunion lunch where the 5 players get together with their partners to discuss why things went so badly back in 2010. And so then you've got 10 people around a table with 2 cameramen and various sound people. All basic, and I would get them to ask a question, and then we'd have to try and cover as best as possible what people would say, but without knowing who would intervene. So there, the cameraman had to be very much on the guard. So it is very much mockumentary style. That someone will start speaking, and the camera will swing over to them to capture what they're saying. But that was I think the biggest challenge, because we had 10 people theoretically all talking at the same time, but they're brilliant. They're such good comedy improvisers. And then it actually gets quite serious, because things, they actually don't treat each other that well. People have had affairs when they shouldn't have done with people. I don't want to give the whole story away. So when it gets quite dramatic, the actors actually took it really seriously, and it gets quite heavy. It's so that was a challenge, not to just throw in the jokes.
How does it feel to have this film at Raindance in London?
Well, the crucial thing about having it at Raindance is I'd recently, just before Raindance had accepted it, I'd just had a screening for distributors, and the distributors, being distributors, had all sort of left halfway through and said, "Oh, why would we want to do this independent film? There are no explosions in it. It's not in 3D, all that sort of." So they basically all headed out. And so when I got the call from Elliot and Amy, basically saying they're going to give the film a gala screening, that really gave me the impetus to sort of say, you know what, I'm going to distribute this film and get it out there. So we're now opening 2 weeks after the film premieres here on 35 screens across the UK.
Wow.
That's at the moment, and it'll grow. And we've done that because that little thing from Raindance made me think, hang on a second, I'm not going to just let this die. And we've had really, really, really positive reaction to it. So, really, it's like it was a momentous call that Raindance said, we'll take this as a gala screening. And it really gave me the confidence to go out and put together a proper release for the film.